I think most NFL fans were surprised to see Bruce Arians stepping away from NFL coaching, just strictly due to the fact that Tom Brady was coming back. It seemed like once Tom Brady came back, they signed a few players that were, I guess, on the fence of leaving. But once Brady was back, they signed back to the team. And then it seemed like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were just going to run it back for another season, see if they could win 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. That's what seemed like the ultimate goal was. However, Bruce Arians is going to be staying within the organization. He's just going to be moving to a front office role. I don't think that role's been released yet. Obviously not GM. I don't think they're going to be making a change there. It would just be an odd change, especially with the success that they've seen already. However, now they're going to have a new head coach. They're going to be promoting defensive coordinator Todd Bowles to head coach, and Todd Bowles is already familiar with being a head coach in the NFL. He was with the New York Jets for, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons, but I was actually a New York Jet fan. I don't know if I said it was. I'm still a New York Jet fan. And I got to see Todd Bowles coach a team, and I think Todd Bowles is a very underrated coach. Now, being a Jet fan, I could completely 100% honestly say that the New York Jets front office has been absolutely abysmal over the last 10 years, and with Joe Douglas, it's gotten much better. When Todd Bowles was there, we had a terrible GM, and our front office was run terribly before he got there, while he was there, and even a little bit after he was there too. So I understand why some people might think that Todd Bowles is not a good head coach because of his stint with the Jets. However, he was given absolutely zero talent and was expected to win because of his first season with the New York Jets. His first season with the Jets, they went 10-6, almost made the playoffs, literally just missed it. There's not a lot of teams that have won 10 games in a season and haven't made the playoffs. Doesn't happen very often, especially when the games were 16 opposed to the 17 that we play now. It just seemed like there were such high expectations because of his first season there, and then ultimately the New York Jets fell off. But when they won 10 games, they had Ryan Fitzpatrick playing quarterback, and not taking a huge dig at Ryan Fitzpatrick, but when the Jets were going into that season, there was no expectations. Todd Bowles made that team what it was, and then was expected to keep it up to that level, which just was completely unfair to him. And then even from his first to second year, the talent diminished tremendously, and he was put in a very tough situation, and then ultimately was fired, and the Jets hired Adam Gase, and oh, what a fall from grace that was. But I think Todd Bowles is kind of judged on that, but we got to look at some other things he's done in his career, and the fact that he's always had success with the Bruce Arians run team. He was with Bruce Arians in Arizona before he was the New York Jets head coach as the defensive coordinator. They saw success there. They had Carson Palmer, or those were the years with Carson Palmer when they were, competing for a Super Bowl chance, right? In the playoffs, I felt like the Arizona Cardinals were always right there. And Todd Bowles was with Bruce Arians. Then he goes to the New York Jets for 2 years, has a terrible team with him, is ultimately let go, and then he joins Bruce Arians when Bruce Arians comes back to NFL coaching and joins the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think the fact that Todd Bowles is going to be taking over a team that was once run by Bruce Arians is really going to help him and really show what kind of coach he truly is. This is going to be the most talented team Todd Bowles has ever had as head coach. And especially when you have Tom Brady on the team, you're always going to be expected to win, so there's definitely going to be a lot of pressure still. However, let's just look at what Todd Bowles has been done from his defensive coaching standpoint. His teams have always been good defensively, no matter when he was with the Cardinals. They didn't have a ton of talent on defense. However, they were really good defenses still, consistently year in and year out when he was there. And then he goes to the New York Jets. The New York Jets defense was tremendous without having any superstar talent, right? Muhammad Wilkerson was like one of the best defensive players. As soon as Todd Bowles left, Muhammad Wilkerson basically became a nobody in the NFL, was let go by the Jets the next year, and then literally couldn't find a spot in another team. And then with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they won the Super Bowl, they were known as one of the best defenses in the NFL, which is crazy to think about because this past year, people ripped apart their defense. But when you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, I don't think they have a superstar. Now, I know that sounds crazy because there's so many known names on that team, whether you want to go with like Levante David, Vita Vea. There's just not a player like a Darrelle Revis or a Charles Woodson, right? They don't have a superstar player that's going to be able to hold down the defense and just make play after play after play. They were just a really solid unit together, and I think that's because of how well coached they were. This past season, we saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense fall off a little bit. I'm going to mainly push any concern for that to the fact of how many injuries they suffered. It basically signed Richard Sherman because they had no other cornerbacks because of, all the injuries that the team had. So I don't really think we can blame Todd Bowles for that. Injuries happen in the NFL. We see teams struggle with it when it comes to the playoffs every single year. And I think that's exactly what happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it didn't only even happen towards the playoffs. It was the entire season that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers struggled with injuries on their defensive side of the ball. So I don't think we can blame Todd Bowles. I'm really excited to see what Todd Bowles could do with this team. I think he's going to be the perfect plug-in coach that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could ask for. He's going to he's already familiar with the team. He's been there. He understands what Tom Brady does. He understands what the team has done to be successful the last 2 years. And I think he's just going to kind of maybe instill his little own tweaks to the team. But overall, he's going to be keeping it, I think, remotely the same, which is huge for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You don't want to change too much. You've already seen success the last 2 years. You won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. You just want to kind of carry that into this season and try to, let the train continue to push on. So I'm excited to see what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do this year. I think Todd Bowles is a very underrated coach, and I'm very excited to see him. I hope he has a lot of success because being a Jet fan, I think he was it just wasn't fair that he was run out of New York the way he was. But things have happened. He's in a really good situation right now. I'm rooting for him. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this hire. Do you think it was the right one, or do you think they should have looked outside? If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out the channel so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.